Okay, besides these nice guys, I'm pleased to introduce to you this nice book which might be helpful to people interested in knowing about American linguistics. Usually, American linguistics is linked to the name of Noam Chomsky ever since the publication of his book Syntactic Structures, 1957. In fact, one can trace the evolution of this rich discipline from its birth with the Sanskrit grammar, 1879. Besides Chomsky, it's worth mentioning other less famous but no less important American linguists and philosophers such as Bloomfield, Sapir, Worf, and more recently Labov, Pike, Montag, Peirce, Grice, and Greenberg. Well, let me just read for you some passages from it. Let's start with the importance of studying languages. People are not aware of the value of language. So, for instance, when they observe the movement of the planets by night, they are amazed by their grandeur and exactitude. By opposition, we are able to use our feet to walk, our hands to wave, and our tongue to talk. No big deal, it seems. Language is simple and natural, and like the ecstasy we feel when we see the amazing motion of the planets and the galaxies. What psychologist Wolfgang Kohler once said, it is necessary for you to develop a kind of psychic distance from the acts that you perform naturally. You have to be able to look at them, as it were, from the outside, to recognize how amazing they are before you can begin to try to find out what are the capacities on which these acts are based. It is not a problem when you study, say, physics, because since we are studying something that is external to us, we already have psychic distance. We do not move the planets, so therefore the fact that the planets move already seems remarkable. Now, one of the theories of coming to us from America is known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis stems from real experiences lived by the two men. A fireman, Whorf, who witnessed that people were careless besides so-called empty petrol drums, while they were very cautious besides full petrol drums. This behavior led many times to the breaking of fires, as the empty petrol drums are more dangerous than the full ones. They contain explosive gases. So Worf concluded that people live in a linguistic world rather than the real physical one. As the two words empty and full played a crucial role in determining their behavior. Moving to one of the most famous American linguists, who is Leonard Bloomfield, in his great book Language, published 1933, we can read the following when he speaks about so-called corrupted language. He criticizes the 18th century scholars who had not observed the sounds of speech and confused them with written symbols of the alphabet. This failure to distinguish between actual speech and the use of writing distorted also their notions about the history of language. They saw that in medieval and modern times, highly cultivated persons wrote and even spoke good Latin, while less educated or careless scribes made many mistakes, failing to see that this Latin writing was an artificial and academic exercise. They concluded that languages are preserved by the usage of educated and careful people and changed by the corruption of the vulgar. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you again with another chapter from this book. Thanks.